3rd, 2nd, and then 1st John. And I'm going to 1 John chapter 1, and I want to share with you about Jesus, the light of the world. Verse number 1 says, That which was from the beginning, which we have heard, which we have seen with our eyes, which we have looked at, and our hands have touched, this we proclaim concerning the word of life. The life appeared. We have seen it and testified to it. And we proclaim to you the eternal life, which was with the Father and has appeared to us. We proclaim to you what we have seen and heard, so that you also may have fellowship with us, and our fellowship is with the Father and with His Son, Jesus Christ. We write this to make our joy complete. This is the message we have heard from Him and declare to you. God is light. In Him there is no darkness at all. These words echo what John tells us as he opens his gospel in John chapter 1 and verse 1. In the beginning was the Word, the Logos, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And even that verse, in the beginning, reminds us of the first book of the Bible, the book of Genesis, chapter 1, and verse number 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. John is saying it this way. Go back in your imagination as far as you can, and Genesis says, before anything that exists came into existence, you will find God, the eternal being. Go back to that same point, John says, and you will find Jesus Christ with God, because He was God before anything was created. But John's thought in these verses before us tonight really are not creation, but the incarnation. The word incarnate means literally to become embodied by flesh. John declares that the Word, which was made flesh in the womb of Mary, was the same eternal Son of the Father who was before all time and who was the agent of all creation. The Word did not come into existence at Bethlehem. He already existed from the beginning with the Father, face to face in relationship. The Word, the Logos, existed within the eternal mystery of the Godhead, the Trinity. It was the everlasting Word that became the human Jesus, and there is no separating between the two. Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 6 says, For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given. Please notice the two perspectives. For from the earthly perspective, a child is born. But from a heavenly perspective, a son is given. For unto us a child is born, but a son, the eternal Son of God, Jesus Christ, is given. And the government will be upon His shoulders. He will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. It is true that there has never been a time when the Word was not. But there is also truth in the fact that there was a definite moment in time when the Word of life appeared, when the Word became manifest among us and experienced by human beings in this material world of time and space. John tells us that he was an eyewitness to this event. And in so doing, he doesn't speak in terms of dreams and visions. He doesn't talk about something that is out in space somewhere, but he talks about God's intervention into this world in real, concrete, tangible terms. Look at what he says. That which is from the beginning, which we have heard, which we have seen with our eyes, which we have looked upon, which our hands have touched and handled. This is the word that we proclaim to you. word of life is Christ himself. Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life. As John declares in the 4th Gospel, in him was life, and this life was the light of men. The eternal life, Jesus Christ, was manifest in human history as a real man who really lived, who really died, who really rose. Jesus of Nazareth. John, one of the fellow apostles, heard him speak. He says, we saw him with our own eyes, not just as some mystical vision, but as a living reality. It was more than just a momentary glimpse of God, but instead they walked with him and fellowshiped with him, continually being revealed as God to them. They touched him physically, both before his death and after his resurrection. This was not some spiritual being disguised in a temporary human suit of clothes. This was the Son of God who came incarnate in the womb of Mary the Virgin, born into this world in the fullness of time to redeem mankind from his sin. Jesus, the man, was also nothing less than God. He who was from the beginning, God of very God, sunk himself into our flesh. He came to be like us so that he could die for us, to bring us into relationship with his Father. You say, Pastor, this